Shawna Russell released her self-titled sophomore project last year and has since split her time between Nashville, her home in Oklahoma, and shows out on the road. Since her debut album Goddess in 2008, Shawna has matured as a writer and as an artist, and we had a chance to sit down with her between writing sessions to check in on her new music. My album was released in the summer of 2011. It's my sophomore effort, my self-titled sophomore effort, so very proud of it. My first single from the album was called Get Right or Get Left. It's a pretty sassy song. We had a video that matched the feeling and emotion of that song, and so we had a great run with that, and I just also wrapped up about a 42 city radio tour to support that, so I've stayed really busy from the summer to the end of the year. Things have got to change, 'cause I need some peace of mind. Gotta see things my way, and you better get it right or you're gonna get left behind. The video for Get Right or Get Left was actually filmed in Nashville. I had a great director, Mark Nicolosi, who put together a great idea about kind of having scenarios but without borders. So when you would see things hanging, there wasn't necessarily a wall. You know, if you saw a fireplace, it was like a monitor just hanging, you know, and it looked like everything was just kind of suspended, and I'd never really heard of an idea like that. And then also there was an aspect of the performance where I was actually on stage, but then while all of the vignettes are going on, you can actually see part of me in the performance. So it was just such a way that, you know, it really grasped the sassiness of the song, but it also added this whole new aspect because I'd never seen anything like it before. So I had a great time filming that. You better get it right, or you're gonna get left behind. Another winter, and it seems so cold. The new single, Waiting on Sunrise, it's one of my favorites from the album, and I co-wrote it with my dad and my uncle, his brother, and you know, it was really just kind of about trying to find hope on the horizon. It kind of starts out talking about winter being kind of a down time, and it really can be for a lot of people, you know, after the rush of all the holidays, and then you're kind of reflecting on the year and kind of wondering where you're going to go from here. But it was just kind of a way to let people know that there is hope on the horizon, and there's that little glimmer of sunlight that will be there eventually. You just have to kind of keep looking for it. Waiting on sunrise in the start of a new day. Songwriting is a pretty new part for me in this business. I started writing songs for my first album because, you know, I would go to publishing companies and I didn't necessarily find things that would strike a chord with what I wanted to say to people at the time. And so I thought, you know, what better way to do that than to write my own songs? And so I never really, you know, did it much, so I was really new to it, but I was also really open to anything. And so, you know, usually my dad and my uncle and I would sit at my cabin and just throw ideas around, and then all of a sudden we've got 12 songs we've written. And so I'm not one of those writers that I can get up every day and write a song a day, you know. I have to kind of write with a purpose, you know, and so I know if I need something, it's almost like the creative juices just start flowing. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'll have more projects so I can get those juices going again. Right now, this is the place to be, 'cause it sounds like a party to me. Coming up for me in the next 6 months will be, you know, I have the new single out, so we'll be watching that and hoping that will continue to grow. And then, like I said, I'm a full-time touring musician, so I will be performing many dates, and we'll just kind of see what comes along the pike, and I think it's going to be a great year for me. Now it's time for our weekly songwriter tip, brought to you by Nashville Songwriters Association International. This week we sit down with Brent Baxter as he talks about going a little too far.
It's better for your song to err on the side of boldness than on the side of timidity. It's better for your song to go too far than to not go far enough. Because the one thing that's going to make people sit up in Nashville and notice you as a writer is if it's real, it's honest, and it's said in your own personal way. See, it's better for your song to be passed on because it's too real than for you as a writer to be passed on because it's too vanilla.
To learn more about NSAI, visit NashvilleSongwriters.com. That's about all the time we have for this week's show, but don't forget those self-titled autographed discs we have up for grabs from Shawna Russell. Enter online only at InsideMusicRoad.com. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page too for all the latest news and events going on around town. We're going to leave you this week with that #1 hit from Jason Aldean, Tattoos on This Town. Until next time, I'm Bailey for Inside Music Row, and I'll see you again real soon.